What's going on, guys? Andrew here, back at you with another video. And as I said yesterday, this movie here that I'm reviewing is going to be a pretty well-known film. So be prepared to and that is of course Flatliners. Just saying, be prepared that you've probably already seen this. For the longest time, I remember my dad, whenever I was younger, saying, this film's really good. I really liked it. And I just never was really interested in the concept of it. And I was just checking out the other day, and I realized that my school that I go to is actually where this film is actually taking place, and it was shot at. Like, the exteriors were shot there and everything. Essentially, this film is all shot in Chicago, and the main campus is Loyola. Like, it was shot at the campus. Like, the opening shot is of my campus. So that is so cool. Like, I was just, going, it was so awesome that was the case. Essentially, this is, if you want to say, maybe Floating Heads poster? Floating Heads. This is 1990. This is before Scream, and before that craze. And this is like one of those films that you would see post-Scream, because doesn't have that feel, but it has those characters like this, like Floating Heads, and it has like the well-known cast in this film. I didn't even get into the plot. The plot is these students, they're med students. They are basically killing themselves and bringing themselves back to life in order to understand what happens when we die. Like, what happens with our brain? Like, is there life after death kind of thing? And yeah, the story goes from there. It's some negative things start happening to them, and it's really unsettling. And I'll just leave it at that. I will say this much. It is, who else was, oh yeah. I'll just say it was directed by Joel Schumacher, who directed The Lost Boys, who, you see Kiefer Sutherland is in this film. Who was also in The Lost Boys. And to be honest, I have never thought of him, Schumacher, as a very good director. I've always thought of him as a hack. I just thought that, he directed Lost Boys, which is a fun film. He also directed those Batman films that were rather bad. They're not good films. They're pretty fun, but they're guilty pleasures. I'll just say that. So this film here actually is a very well-crafted film. The acting is really solid. The direction is pretty good for the most part. The editing is on key. The cinematography is where it's at, man. This film uses colors, it uses background, it uses everything. It's really well crafted. It looks fantastic. Schumacher and the cinematographer, who is probably somebody I don't know, Jan de Bont. No, don't know who he or she is. The score is by James Newton Howard, which I could also say was fantastic in this film. James Newton Howard is he is an Oscar-winning score. Does the score for films, and he does the score for most of Shyamalan's films. So that's where most of his good scores come from. And this film, honestly, for what it's trying to do, is just fantastic. It is really, really good. I was really surprised at how much I liked it. I feel like this transfer for this film is pretty garbage. So, this is the Columbia Pictures transfer for it, which is surprising because Columbia usually does decent with their transfers, but yeah, this one doesn't look that good. I'd recommend trying to pick up that new Mill Creek Steelbook for it, because I think that's a brand new transfer and looks pretty decent. Yeah, other than that, I would highly recommend this film. It's one of those. It's one of those classics from the '90s that isn't talked about all the time, but definitely deserves what it's what credit it's given. So my score for this is an 8.5 out of 10. Really solid stuff. I don't have much negatives. I feel like it was a little too long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes too long, but it's whatever. It's a 2-hour movie, so it's all story based too. So it's fine. I really like the film. Just be checking in tomorrow, guys, for my review of some full moon films. So peace. See you then.